Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Sunday afternoon, a TTI special with Barbara O'Neill. And we just thank you for joining us. We thank you for those who are on YouTube as well, who will be joining us shortly as well. So today we have Barbara O'Neill, and she's going to be talking to us about home remedies, things that we can use within our kitchen, or things that's quickly accessible for us to use when it comes to health. So I am not going to be very long. I'm just going to take you over to Barbara, but first we're going to have a disclaimer, and in the chat, those who are on YouTube, there will be a presentation, a slideshow that you can join our Telegram groups. So we have one for the men, one for the females, women, and one for our spiritual health group. So those links will be posted in our chat, and for those who are on YouTube, it will be shown to you, so you're able to join us on there. So I'm not sure if Edgar, if you're ready for the disclaimer. If not, I'm going to try and remember it, and before we take it over to Barbara. Edgar?
Okay, Charlene, I'm not sure if Edgar's available as co-host yet.
Right, okay. It's okay. What I'll do, I will recite it. So,
Shirley, I'm there. Sorry about the delay. I'm coming.
No, it's fine. So whilst waiting for Edgar, yesterday we had a TTI program, yesterday at 3, and we had Noel and Marie talking about the lymph system and how important it is when it comes to health. And those who may be new on our platform, or those who may have missed it, you can catch up and replay on our YouTube channel, which is True Temperance International. And you'll see Noel and Marie's video for yesterday, but you'll see past videos with Mayman Wilson, our Dr. Louisa, Jason, even those within the TTI team, and Dr. Gandhi and various other speakers, Lucille from Manor House, Joan, Cornwall, and more. So there's plenty of videos as we started last year, April, May time. So there's plenty of videos to watch, covering quite a few aspects when it comes to health.
Shirley, somebody needs to get me a host so I can, because at the moment I'm disabled.
Ah, okay. All done. Thank you, Edgar. So this is our disclaimer, and we do say this on every program. So only a physician can diagnose, treat, and prescribe for illness or disease. Any information disclosed or discussed at the TTI Zoom talk show are for educational and informational purposes only. Please continue to seek medical advice from your general practitioner regarding any illness or disease you may be suffering from. So once again, we do thank you for joining us, and Barbara O'Neill, it's over to you. We thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. This morning, I guess it's afternoon for you, but it's morning for me, as I am in Alabama in the United States of America at the moment. I'm going to be demonstrating to you some natural remedies. The human body was designed to heal itself, and it will heal itself if you give it the right conditions. The basic conditions for healing are really the 8 laws of health. That's pure air, sunshine, not taking anything into the body that will harm it, and doing moderation in the good things. Sleep, going to bed early, having 8 hours sleep a night, exercise, moving the body every day, proper diet, plant-based diet that is high in fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds and grains and legumes. Use of water, keep well hydrated. Make sure you're drinking 8 glasses of water a day. The final law, and that's last and certainly not least, is trust in divine power. Trust in God. Trust in the body that God gave you to be able to heal itself. It'll heal itself if you give it the right conditions. What I'm going to be going over today is some simple natural treatments that you can apply to various ailments. And the first one we're going to look at is the humble onion. I think every home has an onion. And the onion poultice is the first poultice that I ever applied. My son James had an earache, and the old lady next door told me what to do. I was getting very disillusioned with medicine because my first daughter, over 6 weeks and 4 courses of antibiotic, the earache kept coming back. So when my son James, a few years later, had an earache, and by the way, it is not uncommon for a child to get an earache when they're going through teething. So what is a simple thing that we can do? It is the cooked onion poultice. So the onion is kept like this. It's kept with its skin on, its end, and then that little core that holds it together. And that's where the roots came out in the garden, and this is where the top was. And where the roots came out, that'll hold it all together. And you steam this. You either steam it or you dry bake it. It is best to steam or dry bake, because when you steam or dry bake, you will ensure that the onion retains its nutrients. When it is soft, you now cut it in half. And you cut it in half so that you're cutting across the middle of the onion, which means you will leave the root part at the bottom and the stem part at the top. So I have just cut the onion in half, and now I'm looking at the rings. Remember, it's very hot. You've just steamed it. And what you can do is you can get a teaspoon and you can squeeze a little bit of the juice. We're pretending this is cooked. And you can squeeze a little bit of the juice into the spoon, and you can put that into the ear. Even though this is boiling, when those boiling juice will touch the cold metal of the spoon, it'll bring it to the temperature that the ear can cope with. And now you wrap this in a cloth. You might wrap it in a tea towel. You might wrap it in a little hand towel. I've just got a little cloth here. It's a good idea to tear up your sheets when they get thin or old. They make great cloths for poultices. And now I would put that on the ear. Obviously, you cannot put it on boiling hot. You put it on your arm and make sure you get the right temperature, especially if you're doing it for someone else, for a child or an elderly person. The ear is a tender place, so of course you do not want to burn it. But you put several layers over that, and that will shield from the great heat. But you want to keep it as hot as possible, because when this goes cold, you would have to remove it. And so you place it on the ear, and then ideally you would place a piece of plastic. I've got some cling wrap here that I've folded over a few times. So you would place that on the ear, and then you could bandage it on, or you could put a woolen beanie on, but something that will hold it in. And you don't want any of that damp cloth getting to the air, or it will chill. Always when I apply a poultice, I put my hands over it and I pray. I ask God to bless the poultice. Now that heat from the onion will be very soothing for a person with an earache. And the onion is a drawer. And so naturally within the onion, there are these drawing powers. So what can happen is sometimes a hole will be made in the ear and the pus will come out. But sometimes the poultice will just reduce it to the point where the blood will take away, maybe if there's pus or inflammation there. How long would you keep it on for? Ideally for as long as you can keep it warm. When I did it to my son, he fell asleep and I laid him down on the onion and I had folded up a towel maybe 4 or 5 times and he slept with his ear on the poultice and it was insulated by the thickness of the towel, and he slept a couple of hours. He'd been upset all morning pulling his ear, but he slept very well with the onion poultice on. So when he woke up, he was happy. In fact, nothing else happened. My husband was concerned. He said, I'm not sure that an onion poultice would do that. Please have him checked. And of course, if ever you're concerned, please go and have the doctor check. The doctor looked in the ears. In the ear where it had the ache, it was perfectly clean. No swelling, no inflammation. In the ear that didn't have the onion poultice on, there was a little bit of wax. So maybe the onion poultice even cleaned the wax out of the ear. So it's a very simple poultice. There's another place that you can use the cooked onion. And by the way, if after a couple of hours it's getting cool, and it would take a couple of hours if you had it well insulated, you can go to your pot and get the other half out and wrap it up, because you could keep it in the pot to keep it warm. So it all depends on your body's response, and you're always watching for your body's response. When you get relief from the earache, your body's saying, this is exactly what I want. And that you finish it and the earache comes back, what's the body saying? Another one, another one. As long as you get relief, you know that this is what the body needs. Now, if a hole is made and the pus comes out, if the body makes the hole, the body can heal the hole.
Sorry, Barbara. Sorry, you got muted. Sorry. It was, yeah,
that's okay. If the body makes a hole, the body can heal a hole. Remember, we're not making the hole. The body did that under the action of the onion to get that pus out. The body can heal it. As I said, I can't tell you what will happen because, you know, there are different scenarios. Much depends on how inflamed the ear is or how chronic the ear infection is. So there's a whole lot of scenarios. But I have found it incredibly effective, and I've had other mothers also testify. There's somewhere else you can use the cooked onion, and that is on a boil. So when you use the onion poultice on a boil, you basically can put that straight onto the area. There's not really a need for wrapping it up then. But of course, you wait until the skin is ready. One lady told me that she had a boil on her back and her girlfriend had steamed the onion, put it on the back, and then covered it and taped it on. And she said she left it there for 24 hours. It was well insulated, so it was able to hold for 24 hours. She said it brought so much relief. And when she took it off, everything came out. You see, the heat will draw the pus and the inflammation to the area. The onion is also drawing it to the area, and the moistness of the onion also opens up the skin so that the pus can come out. I've had several people testify to me that it's had an incredible effect. One man said he's had boils for quite a while, and he said it cut down the discomfort and the resolving of the situation about a third of the time by using the onion poultice. Can everyone hear me?
yes, we can, Barbara.
You have. Good, good, good. I see you back again. So they're the two places you can use a cooked onion poultice. And now I'm going to show you what you can do with a raw onion poultice. So with the raw onion poultice, you take the skin off. That's what I'm doing right now. And the first one we're going to do is a poultice that you can use for a sore throat. So a sore throat is very uncomfortable. And you can finely slice the onion and put it in a cloth, and then you can wrap that on your throat. So I'm just slicing up the onion now, and I'll show you how this can be done. I've finely sliced it, a few fine slices, and then I get a cloth. Remember, cut up your old sheets. So with this cloth, I'm going to put the fine slices, the very fine slices of onion in the cloth, and then fold the cloth over. And remember, it's going around my neck, so I'll make it quite a thin, long one. So I've folded up like this. So I've got this. And then in there, there's the onion there. I only really need it on the front part of the neck, so I'll put it on the throat like this. And then you can put a little bit of plastic around there. Plastic just insulates us. If you don't want to use plastic, you can use wool. You might put a nice thick woolly scarf around there. And the onion penetrates deep, and it reduces the inflammation and helps to cut the mucus and can bring quite a bit of relief to a sore throat. Now I'm going to show you how you can put chopped onion on the bottom of the feet. So now I'm chopping the onion into little bits. And to do this, I need 2 plastic bags. At Misty Mountain Health Retreat, we buy boxes of plastic bags that are made out of starch. The plastic most plastic bags contain some chemicals in it. So when you're doing natural treatments, you try not to have the plastic touching the skin, or you use a plastic that is made out of starch. It is not hard to do this. When I was in Samoa, I noticed that there were pink plastic bags everywhere. And I said, pink plastic bags? They said, oh, the Samoan government are very fussy on our plastic bags because they're getting into the waterways, they're polluting. And so all plastic bags in Samoa are made out of starch, which means they're biodegradable. So here's a plastic bag, and we're going to put half the onion in one plastic bag, and the other half of the onion goes in another plastic bag. So here we have the onion in the plastic bag, and then you put the foot in. And when you put the foot in, the foot is sitting on top of the onion. So the onion is touching the bottom of the foot. We're going to pretend that my hand is a foot. So can you see what I've done here? I've twisted the top. My hand, which we're pretending is a foot, is inside the bag, and the bottom of my foot, the sole of my feet, is resting on the chopped onion. Then you put a sock on and go to bed. And you do this to both the feet. And you would do this to bring relief to a cold. You would do it to bring relief for a cough. I was at my daughter's house, and her little 3-year-old boy, he was coughing. He had a cold. We'd done a few things to him, and she laid him down to bed, and he was coughing such a lot. But we kept thinking he'll sleep in a minute. And after half an hour, he was still coughing. So we got him out of bed. We got the plastic bag. We put the onion in it. We put his foot in the bag. We twisted it around his ankle and then put a sock on. And then we put him back to bed. Not one more cough. In fact, he didn't cough all night. The whole bed smelt like onion, but it was a small price to pay for a good night's sleep. So you can do the chopped onion on the bottom of the feet to bring relief to a cold. Now I'm going to show you how you can make an onion cough mixture. So I'm chopping up the onion into small bits, and what you need is a jar. There's my jar. And we're going to put about ½ an inch of onion in the bottom of the jar. There we are. And then we're going to drizzle honey in. So you would do about ½ an inch of chopped onion, and then drizzle approximately a teaspoon of honey over the onion. And what you will do now is you will continue to layer the onion and the honey. So I've just put about a teaspoon, and now I'm going to put another layer of onion. The children love this, especially if they're children that aren't used to lollies and candies. My children really liked it. Could you give it to a baby? Oh, a very tiny baby, you might only give a few drops. But a 6-month-old baby, you could probably give about a quarter of a teaspoon. To a 1-year-old baby, maybe half a teaspoon. To children, depending on the age, from about 10, they could have about 1 teaspoon. How often would you give it? If they had a cold, you might give it to them 3 times a day. So I'm drizzling the honey in again, and I'm putting in approximately a teaspoon of honey on that again. I'm doing this remedy early in our presentation to show you that by the end of the presentation, a syrup will have formed. And you'll know the syrup because it will be different to the thick, sticky honey. It will be clear, not clear, but runny, I should say. It'll be runny, almost like water. How long will it last? Oh, it'll last in the fridge for years because it's honey. But you must drain the onion out. When would you drain the onion out? Oh, after about 24 hours. So I'm once again putting the honey in. I did a bit of a thicker layer then. So now, because this is the top layer, I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons of honey. Now, the sky's the limit as to what you can do with this. You can add garlic if you like. You can have ginger if you like. You can make it quite a potent mix. So I'm giving quite a nice helping because it's the top layer, a good 2 teaspoons there. And now I'm going to put the lid on. Now, by looking at that, you can see it's quite thick. It's not running at all. But one of the last things we're going to do with this presentation is we're going to have a look at this. And you will see that when I tip it, it'll be thin and runny rather than the thick honey that we see now. So that can be sat. If someone has a bad cough and they need help very quickly, you will have a syrup within about an hour. But ideally, you let it sit for 24 hours, then you strain the onion out, you discard the onion, and then you keep that in a jar. Yes, you could keep it in a fridge, but it will last a long time because I think we all realize that honey does not go off. Now we're going to have a look at a relative of the honey, and that is garlic. Garlic is a very potent antibiotic. Now, if you use it as an antibiotic, you must be having 4 raw cloves a day. In fact, there's research that shows it's more potent than some of the basic antibiotics that are on the drug list. So how would you use it as an antibiotic? I'm going to give you a recipe for the flu bomb. So I hope you've got your pen and papers ready. So the flu bomb, remember it like this, it has 6 ingredients. So the first 2 ingredients are garlic, and you would crush the garlic and you put it in a cup, and ginger. Ginger, it's probably about 1/4 teaspoon. How much garlic? How much do you dare? Can you handle 1 clove or 2 cloves? And this is quite a nice sized clove, as you can see. If I was doing it for a child, I might do just a small clove. So garlic, as much as you dare, 1 or 2 cloves, crushed, finely sliced ginger or finely grated ginger. So there's the first 2 ingredients. Now the next 2 ingredients are 1 drop of eucalyptus oil. When it'll say on the bottle, do not take internally. Well, I'm not advising you drink half the bottle. You're probably going to a coma if you do, but we do have common sense here. and an old remedy that's been used for thousands of years. An old lady told me this, that when one child got a cold, they all had to line up for a little teaspoon that had a bit of sugar or honey in it and 1 drop of eucalyptus oil, and they all had to take it. This was an Australian woman, because you know eucalyptus oil is an Australian oil. Unfortunately, about 40 years ago, a little boy, aged 2, got into a cupboard and drank half a bottle of eucalyptus oil and went into a coma. They banned eucalyptus oil. There was such an outcry that they legalized it, but every eucalyptus oil bottle that you buy in Australia, it's got poison written on it. Do not take. But I think you see what I'm saying. 1 drop it'll help to clear the respiratory organs, because this recipe for the flu bomb is something you take for a cold, for a flu, for bronchitis, for asthma, for pneumonia, any condition in the respiratory organs. So we've looked at garlic, ginger, 1 drop of eucalyptus oil, and cayenne pepper. So really, these are the 2 pretty hot ones. How much cayenne pepper? As much as you dare. If I was making this drink for a little 3-year-old, I might put a light sprinkle. If I was making it for me, I might put half a teaspoon. The next 2 ingredients are the juice of a lemon and a teaspoon of honey. So there's your 6 ingredients. And then you add half a cup of hot water, and then you drink it. So the castor oil is taken. Sorry, we're not talking about castor oil. My eye went to castor oil. The flu bomb. The flu bomb is taken, if you have a cold, the flu bomb can be taken 3 times a day. If you take the flu bomb 3 times a day, if you get the flu or the COVID flu or a cold or bronchitis, usually within 3 days, you'll see that you are recovering, especially at the same time if you're doing the 8 laws of health. It's a very simple remedy. An Australian doctor gave me that recipe, and he gave that to me about 40 years ago. How nice if you went to a doctor and he gave you that instead of antibiotics. He was a Chinese doctor, so he was a medical doctor, but he was trained also in natural medicine. Can you give it to a child? Well, one of my 2-year-olds took it. I made it a little milder. And when he saw the relief that he got, he didn't cough as much. The ruddy nose wasn't as strong. He even asked for it the next day. Some children are more sensitive than others. So I never, ever force a child to take something. But when a child has experienced the relief that they get, you'll find
And it looks like we're losing Barbara. Barbara, are you there? It looks like we're losing Barbara. Reception.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Barbara, but I think you've frozen. The reception went. Went. Can you hear us, Barbara? Okay, so I think we've just lost Barbara. So let's see if we can see some of the questions in the chat. But we just lost Barbara. Hopefully she'll come back on shortly.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Barbara.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi,
Yes, we can hear you.
Again.
Yes, we can just about. I think it's starting to get better.
Glint free when I'm in the other side. Okay. Garlic. But what came for a baby? The baby's got a cold. A lady emailed, she said, Barbara, my 3-month-old baby's got a cold. She's stressed. So what I said to her, relax. Babies all over the world get colds and they recover quite quickly. But there's a few small things that you can do that will bring them relief. And so with garlic, I'm fine over garlic. I'm going to bind this to the baby's feet, but I am going to put the garlic here. Just cut it up. Fine size. So you guys are very fine, and you lay it on the cloth like this, and you put the cloth over. And say my hand is the foot, and then you bind of the foot like this. So that's the bottom of the foot, and there are 2 little thin slices of garlic there. Now you would put a little sock on, or a little one little body, and with a couple of minutes you can smell garlic on the baby's breath. So this is a very easy, simple, and yet effective way for your baby to take garlic. You can even do this to, how long would you leave it on for? You might leave it on all night. Sometimes you can leave it on all night and you'll get a freer night from sniffles and coughing. You see, the feet are a reflex for abdomen, chest, and head. So it can help to clear away, it can help touch the skin. If it does, it will this the skin. And that just the cloth, the garlic, and then you'll. I used to do it to my son James. To get quite testy, and this to his feet. He was 3. Send him out to play, and every step he took, he's squishing that garlic. At the end of the dish, I like the dried liver. All that juice had gone, yes. That'll do for garlic. Now we're going with ginger. Ginger is probably for anti-nausea. So if you go to the health shop and buy tablets, car sickness tablets, it's usually compressed ginger. Ginger can be finely grated and made into a tea. So one of my favourite graters is this one here. It's a nice fine grater, and you can grate that ginger straight into the teapot. It's usually about a teaspoon to a cup of water, and then sit for about minutes. It will bring great relief. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Barbara, we're really struggling to hear you.
Yes.
It's your signals. So now we can't see you. It's frozen, and then it keeps breaking up.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's the screen's
I'm in
gone
the
black
hills in
now.
Alabama.
Yeah, the reception is, it says that your reception is on red, so
Okay.
it's quite bad. Yeah, it's not on the white signal, it's on red, showing that it's quite bad.
Okay.
That's
I can see you and I can see me.
I think you're frozen now as well.
We got up to the garlic in the sock, although that was a little bit broken. But then when you moved on to the next ingredient, the ginger, was it the ginger? We didn't really get any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But the garlic in the sock, we pretty much got, even though it was broken up.
Okay.
I will try again because it seems though the picture seems a bit better. Barbara?
Yeah, I
I
can
want to
hear and
try
see
again
you quite
'cause,
well.
yeah, if you want to try again, if you just go back a little bit because it was a bit broken up.
Okay,
Internet wasn't very stable.
okay. So what I'm going on to now is the ginger. So the ginger is an excellent anti-nausea herb, and you can make a tea out of the ginger. You can grate it finely, and this is the grater that I use. And you can put that grated ginger in hot, and you can boil it more. Let it sit until it's cool enough to drink. That might be 10 minutes. And that can be taken for nausea. It also can be taken for a person that's really chilled, with cold, and that hot tea will warm them up very nicely. So internally, ginger can be used to soothe nausea. It can also be used to ease an upset stomach. It can be used to warm up a person. Ginger can also be used externally, so outside. And the best way to remember where you would use the ginger is as a poultice on inflamed joints. So remember, ginger is for joints. So this would be arthritis or gout. It's very, very effective on inflamed joints. So I will show you how to make the poultice now. I always start with a square of plastic. And what I have done here is I've folded over the cling wrap a few times, and it's a little bit more usable. And then I have a square. It's a good idea to break or cheat, which is what I did this morning. And then we're going to grate straight onto that. We're grating the ginger. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good,
It is
good.
quite slow and bitty.
Yeah,
We can hear
sorry
you better
about
than we can
that.
see you.
Barbara,
Yeah.
are you able to connect directly to your router with a cable?
I'll have to go and ask somebody because, again, this is not where I live.
Yeah.
So will we have a little break and I'll go and inquire? Yeah?
Okay.
Okay. Whilst Barbara is going to inquire regarding the internet and the internet connection, I'm going to. Yes, Edgar?
I'm going to put some of the groups up. If you want to just talk us through it while she's
That's fine.
sorted
I'll
out.
be waiting. That's fine. So what we're going to do, we're just going to show those who are on YouTube the link for our Telegram groups. So we have the TTI Women's platform, the men's, and the spiritual health. So this is on Telegram. So those who have Telegram, you can just type it in and then it will take you straight there. It should be in the chat as well, the Telegram links. But please, you will have to download the Telegram. It's like WhatsApp, another app that you would have to download in order to join. This is where we have discussions. The posters will come up and will be there of what we will be doing in the week. So the spiritual health, there is a Bible study every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And then on a Thursday in the week, we have a essential oil class at 7 o'clock as well, where we discuss about essential oils. Some people don't know much about essential oils. They may think it's like a carrier oil. So we discuss different things, how to use it when it comes to health and and so forth. Okay, Edgar, you can go next. This is our PayPal link. If you feel impressed of what TTI is doing, this is our donation, what would be donation link. And what we do, we don't just have our Bible studies on Tuesday or essential oil class on a Thursday, or even our Saturday show on at 3 o'clock. But we also do going out, helping the sick, the homeless, distributing books, and quite a few things, keeping us busy within the week. So we do feel impressed of what we do. This is our link for a donation. And that's just the essential oil class, what I mentioned, what we do every Thursday at 7. This week it will be about environmental health and using the oils. And this is Alvin and Louise, who is part of our team, and they do cooking classes. I think there is one at the moment, isn't it, Edgar? One at the moment.
Yes, it's running today.
Yeah, running today, where they're showing you how to do plant-based meals. So those who may be struggling or want some new ideas, Alvin and Louise have a cooking school going, and that is the details if you'd like to make contact with them, or go on their website or email them.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, Barbara, hello.
The guys are getting me set up upstairs, and we're going from the iPad onto a computer, and they're going to take me straight into the router.
Okay, you sound very well. You sound much better. We can see you and hear you really good, but that's fine for upstairs.
Okay. So we'll try this other system, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, just give me 5 minutes.
Okay, that's fine.
I said that I keep cutting out.
So what we could do, whilst we've done that, whilst waiting for Barbara, I'm going to see if there's any questions.
Sure. We're getting ready to go. Sure.
Go ahead, Shirley.
So I'm just going to see if there's any questions, maybe some that we may be able to answer.
Okay.
So,
Hi, Charlene. Someone is asking if you would be able to go back to the essential oil slide. Just talk a bit more about that.
oh, we turn back to, okay, and the health cooking. Okay, Edgar, can you put back on the slides, please? Because someone's asking also regarding the health cooking class, and for us to explain the Telegram app as well. Thank you. Okay, so this is Alvin and Louise. So this is their contact details. So the mobile number is 07958 620 928. And I think this is maybe their office number, which is 01550 779 092. And their email would be inquiries@goldenpalmscookeryschool.com, and their website is www.goldenpalmscookeryschool.com. So the essential oil class, this will be the Zoom ID. There is no password needed. So the Zoom ID is 829-9752-4481. And this week we will be discussing environmental health and using the oils. So we will be discussing regarding what's hitting us now globally, and then what we can do when it comes to using the essential oils, using it correctly, using it safely. And then Edgar, if you can just go to the Telegram group, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so this is our Telegram, the links. So if you're using your phone at the moment, the links are in the chat, and if you click on it, it will take, if you have Telegram, it will take you straight to our platform. If you don't, those who are on YouTube, if you type this in, I'm not sure where it will be typed. I think you could just do an URL on the web, type this in, and then it should take you to our platform where we have discussions regarding whether it's women's health, the men's health, or when it comes to the spiritual aspect and how health fits into it when it comes to Bible and health. I hope that's okay for everybody. Let me just have a look in the chat. I think everyone has got everything. If you did miss everything. Yeah, so I think everyone has, go back. Okay, go back where, sorry, Joy? The essential oil class will be on environmental health.
Whilst we're doing this, Shirley, can we just let people know that questions with regards to Barbara's presentation, we'll take them at the end of her presentation. So please make a note of them. If we can have little breaks like this, we'll deal with them. But so that we don't have a lot of people unmuting all at the same time, we'll take your questions at the end and we'll read out the questions from what you've placed in the chat. I hope that's understandable. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Yes, we will put the information in the chat. So we'll put Alvin's information and the Zoom ID for the essential oil class as well.
We can run it again later as well.
Yes, and we'll put it on again later. We'll put it on again later. I'm just, and the women's group, that's fine. I'll see if I can put it on now for the links for everybody, for those who may be using their phone. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, Sharon has just put the woman's one on. Thank you, Sharon. So the men's and the spiritual one will follow for those who would like to join us. I'm just, oops. Let me just put this in.
So,
just putting the link in.
Shirley, somebody on YouTube was asking, have we got essential oil programs on YouTube?
Unfortunately, we don't. We do record them, and it's on our cloud, but we don't have it on YouTube.
So if somebody actually contacted you or presumably Alvin, would you be able to pass that on to them, or is that not possible?
No, that's fine. Yes, if they contact one of us, myself or Alvin, then that's absolutely fine.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So I'm thinking, what could we do in the meantime? So, mostly we did have WhatsApp, but because our groups were quite a lot, we was full on both for the WhatsApp, but because Telegram, we can have one platform and hold around 20,000, I think it is, people. We went over to Telegram, and we still have the WhatsApp, but it's only for admin only to post when it comes to posters or the challenges that we may be doing in the week. So I don't know if that's okay if you would still like to join the WhatsApp, but it's only for admin only to post. Okay, so whilst we're still waiting, whilst we are still waiting for Barbara, I'm just thinking, what?
Can we ask Barbara to raise her hand when she joins? Then we can look for her in the participants and know who to unmute.
Okay, that's fine. Yes, I will send the details for the essential oil class, where you can contact myself or Alvin. But if you do join the Telegram groups as well, we do post the poster on there. Galaxy S10, is there a book for all the remedies she talked about? I'm not quite sure. And we will have to find out and ask her. Oh, she has got one. Someone messaged you back, Nicola Grant, Self-Heal by Design. So those who are on YouTube, I am looking through the chat. So I'm repeating some of the things that may be beneficial for you. So Barbara does have a book and it's called Self-Heal by Design, that you can probably find on Amazon, I think, or maybe eBay or somewhere. And she has that book if you'd like to purchase it with some recipes. Okay.
Okay, Charlene, just stop. So there was a question saying, if I'm in the women's group, will I have access to information on all the classes? So just reiterating to everybody that whichever group you're in, we do post information on whether it's the essential oils or the Bible studies or any other classes that we're doing. That information goes on all the groups, the men's health, the women's health, and the spiritual health groups. So hopefully that answers your question. But those of you who are just joining us, there are some people that are still coming. We've just had some connection issues. So Barbara's just relocating so that we can have a smoother presentation. So far, she has covered the onion and how to make an onion poultice and its uses in earache. Fill in if I've left anything out, and other benefits of the onion. But we do have the recordings. This is currently being recorded, so anything you've missed, you will get on YouTube afterwards, along with all of our other presentations. We've been going for over a year, well, almost a year now, so there's plenty in the archive. She has also shared with us information about garlic and placing garlic in the sock to help with a range of illnesses, and it's going to increase your circulation as well. And she's started speaking about ginger and then needed to relocate. We have had a recipe for the flu bomb that was having crushed garlic. The amount of garlic is as much as you can take. This is to have half a cup of the tea. So crushed garlic, finely sliced ginger, 1 drop of eucalyptus oil, a few sprinkles of cayenne pepper, lemon juice of a lemon, and a teaspoon of honey. That's all with half a cup of hot water. So it's 6 ingredients: honey, lemon, cayenne pepper, eucalyptus oil, ginger, and garlic, with half a cup of hot water taken to help ease the flu symptoms and help you with recovery.
Thank you, Sharon, for repeating that for those who just come on. How often, Sharon, that you drink that remedy? Is that the flu bomb you did?
That's the one that I read out. The
flu bomb.
Whenever I've done the flu bomb, I've always said you take it as and when needed. But the amount of eucalyptus oil that you're going to be having is only 1 drop in all of that, and it's going to be. Barbara cautioned us about the internal use of eucalyptus oil, and it's just worth going back and reiterate, reviewing the presentation on YouTube. Sorry, I didn't get all the information that she gave with regards to regularity, etc., because I was trying to sort out other admin issues and read through the chat.
I think if I can remember, she said 3 times. Yes, Maxine said 3 times. So she said 3 times a day. Julie, you will find us on YouTube under our name, True Temperance International. So if I type it in, True Temperance International. And this is our YouTube name, True Temperance International, where you'll find Barbara's presentation for today and previous ones that we have done. You're welcome. Okay, so thank you, Cher. So next week, what we're going to do, I'll just discuss maybe our future programs, what we look to do, which will be next week. It will be on heart disease / stroke with Scott Turner. That'll be next week. And I think the week after, it might be our Dr. Louisa. She will be next week, the week following that, and that will be on, Sharon, what's that one on? Acid reflux. Acid reflux. Next Sunday, we don't have a program on a Sunday. This is actually a special. This is well, we have this one today, and then we will have Barbara again in June, June the 6th. She'll be with us again, and hopefully 2 weeks after that for the weekend, but we shall see. But Sundays is not our sessions. This is a special for you all from TTI and with Barbara O'Neill. So this is a special one, but our shows are on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, where we talk about different health topics. So what's coming up will be heart disease, stroke, acid reflux, remedies again that you can do at home. Sharon, I'm trying to think of the future ones. I'm trying to remember the people that's going to be presenting. We've got quite a few coming up. Let me see if I can find them. We've got quite a few coming up. Let me see.
Just to remind those who are joining us, Shirley, that we're in the middle of the presentation. Barbara is just sorting out her internet connection.
Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan.
We also have Brother Floyd Maybury and Sam and Pastor Sam Davis for the to round up the end of May, because we've got 5 weeks in May. So I'll just have a look and see what else I have, but please excuse me if there's some sounds in the background because my son is in here. And
yes, you are right, Sharon. It is Floyd Maybury on influenza and Sam on allergies.
And then we have possibly we'll have a session on detox for the first week in June.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll possibly have another session from Marie and Noel. And then Dr. Gandhi will be doing the 26th of June.
Yes.
We'll have to get back to you with the topic. But Dr. Gandhi is somebody who presents regularly on the True Temperance International show. He's a doctor from, I think he's from Malawi. Very good presentations we've got. Again, if you look back on the YouTube channel, you'll see that there are quite a few from him. We've also had presentations on arthritis, other home remedies presented by the True Temperance International team members. And we set challenges every week. Yeah. Sometimes we're very good
I
at
think Barbara is
taking on
with
the
us now,
challenges.
guys.
And sometimes we struggle. But
We do.
Be
I think
quiet
Jonathan
now.
said that Barbara is in the room.
Okay, let me mute.
Let me see if I can find her.
Okay, Barbara, if you could hear us, can you raise your hand and then we'll know to look out for who to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you,
that's
Barbara.
great.
Now,
Thank
I'm
you.
on my iPad, but we've got the computer all set up, but nothing's coming in.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you really good, and we can
Now,
see you.
the reason I've come on here is because nothing's coming through on the computer. I've got the computer next to me here, but we sent the email to get the link, but it didn't come through.
It's fine, Barbara. Your audio is very clear and we can see you very clearly from whatever device you are on now.
So will I just continue on this, will I?
Yes.
Just carry on for now, Barbara.
Okay, we'll carry on for now. Maybe we just push that aside. Okay, so we'll carry on where we left off. I've come upstairs in the house and I don't know, maybe it works a little bit better up here. But we were talking about ginger and I showed how you can make the ginger poultice and you grate it with the little grater here. And I was in the process of showing you how to make the poultice. So we've got, remember the plastic there, and then we've got the cloth. And what I have done here is I have grated inside. Can you see that? So I've probably got about 2 teaspoons of ginger grated there. And now I'm going to fold over top and bottom and then left to right. So what I've successfully done now is I've made like a little package. Can you see that? And I turn it over so the one layer of cloth is going to be going on the skin and then it's backed by the plastic. So let's say I have a arthritic joint and it's causing me a lot of pain. Then I would put the poultice on like this, wrap it on. The plastic covers it, but can you see not a lot of plastic is touching my skin? And then I would bandage that on. Now, if I have a very painful arthritic joint and I apply that grated ginger compress or poultice, within about half an hour, the skin will get very hot. That's an indication that this grated ginger poultice has pulled inflammation out of the joint to the skin. Some people say, but now the skin is so hot. I say, it's okay. It actually will not hurt you and it will not burn you. Some people say it's uncomfortably hot. If it is uncomfortably hot, by all means, take it off. But a lot of people say, oh, it's bringing me a lot of relief. This is also a very good poultice for arthritic joints as well as gout. So if you were to make it for gout, maybe it would be on a toe, then you would make a little one. I did a little one for a lady's finger one day. Her finger was stuck. She had not been able to bend it for years and it was quite swollen. So we made a tiny little ginger poultice. we didn't put a bandage on that one. We just put some tape on that one once the plastic was on. And she slept with that all night. She said it got quite hot, but she said it felt very nice. In the morning, when she took it off, she was able to bend her finger. She was so excited. So this is something she hadn't experienced for many years. One also must consider why that would be like that. Maybe she needs to change her diet a little, go to a more alkaline diet. But the poultice can certainly bring a lot of relief. We've just finished a program here at Living Springs Retreat in Alabama, and guests come in here and they stay a week. And we had one man who had a very sore, oh, it looks like I'm on the, excuse me a minute, this is Edgar. Yes, Edgar? Good, thank you. Forgive this, we're just working out our technology, but I can hear myself on the computer. So just give me a minute. Can we go over there? So we're going over to the computer. If you could just help us set this up.
Take this off, otherwise it's going to have feedback.
My apologies, everybody, for the distraction. But I just want to get it to have a more stable connection. So we're just going to do that now. Thank you.
Live?
Yes.
So if we mute your iPad, then which one do we need to unmute?
She's going to a computer.
Undo the host, because it says that on host is not allowing you to unmute. Co-host, yeah. They have to unmute you. Unmute Living Springs.
If you are able to give me an indication as to which device I need to unmute, then I'll do so.
You said which device?
Living Springs. Living Springs.
How do you do that?
Just type in, just type Living Springs and
Okay.
just unmute.
You should be able to unmute now.
Okay, should be able to unmute. Yes, we're unmuted. Okay.
Check to see that they can hear you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you may go ahead. We can hear you clearly.
Okay. All systems go. Thank you very much, Brian. Okay, so we're continuing on our ginger poultice. Remember, ginger poultice is for joints. And this can be gout, this can be, it can be arthritis, very good for a lower back. Now, I was just starting to tell you about a gentleman that attended the program here, and he had a very sore knee. He'd been an athlete in past times, and he was now in his early 60s, and his knee gave him a lot of grief, as we say. So we made a grated ginger poultice. We applied it to his knee. Within half an hour, he said, "Oh, it's getting very hot." I said, "That is an indication that the inflammation is being pulled out of the joint." And he wore it all night. He said to me the next day, he said, "I cannot believe what that ginger poultice did." He said, "My pain levels are a third what they were yesterday." He said, "I was able to do the morning walk without pain this morning." So that's a simple ginger poultice. Now, a lady on the internet heard about it, and she'd seen my demonstration on YouTube, and she contacted me. She said, I tried the ginger poultice. I was so excited at the relief that it brought me. So she said at the end of the day, I put another one on. And when I woke up in the morning, I changed it and put another one on. But she said by the end of the day, my skin was red and inflamed and little blisters were forming. I laughed. I said, you've overdone it. You've just overdone it. This poultice has pulled so much inflammation out of the joint that it's irritated the skin. So ideally, you would just do it for maybe 3 or 4 hours every evening, but don't do it 24/7 because the amount of inflammation that gets pulled out can certainly irritate the skin. So the next poultice that I'm going to look at is the potato. So I think every home has a potato. And whereas ginger is an excellent poultice for inflamed joints and inflammation of the joint, the potato can be used for inflammation of the tissues. So inflammation of the tissues, that would be a sprained ankle. That would be a maybe a broken bone. It might be wherever you've got inflammation, ingrown toenail. It can be conjunctivitis, red eyes. I know over here they call it pink eye, but it's really conjunctivitis. So to make that poultice, it's really made the same. So I always have, this is a little chopping board. I put the plastic down and then I have another cloth. It's a good idea to make a poultice box and tear up those old sheets so that you have a nice store whenever you need to make a poultice. So I'm just going to quickly grate the potato. And the potato can be quite wet too. You'll see when I made the ginger poultice that I didn't use too much. It's the same with the potato. Don't use too much because there's nothing worse than having dripping poultice, especially on the sheets or on the clothes. It can stain the clothes and stain the sheets. So I've got here the cloth and I'm spreading out the grated ginger. Sorry, we're on the potato. I'm spreading out the potato. And again, I put one side over. I say I do north and south and then east and west. And so I've put the other side over. And again, you make a little package. And the good thing about making a little package is it keeps it all contained. You're not going to get bits of grated potato or grated ginger through your sheets or through your clothes. And when you have worn this overnight, in the morning, you can just discard it in the bin or in the rubbish. So remember your potato, it's very cooling and it's very gentle. So the potato is one that you would use whenever there's tissue inflammation, as in a sprained ankle, as in an ingrown toenail, as in a splinter that's sealed over, sore eyes. So that's where you would use your grated potato poultice. You would never put a grated ginger poultice on the eye. So the tender parts of the body, the potato is very good. And remember what it will do? It will reduce the tissue inflammation. What I'm going to have a look at now is charcoal. So I have a jar of charcoal here and you can see the blackness of it. When you have a sponge and you put it in water, it absorbs the water. Charcoal doesn't absorb, it adsorbs. That's A-D-S-O-R-B. It adsorbs. What does adsorb mean? Well, under a microscope, there's a huge surface area in the charcoal. There are all these little facets. And those little surface areas are the ones that adsorb, meaning they take the poison in and then they neutralize it. Nothing else will do that. Only charcoal will do it. And this explains why charcoal is used as a filter in many water systems. It's used as a filter sometimes in face masks. In medicine, they use charcoal as a filter to filter the blood for dialysis. NASA uses charcoal to filter the air in outer space, to filter the water in outer space. because it adsorbs, meaning it takes in and it neutralizes poisons. We had a nurse doing our program. She said, we are using it in casualty hospital today when we get a case of poisoning come in, maybe overdose. We offer them the choice. They can either have charcoal or they can have their stomach pumped. Well, most people prefer the charcoal. It absorbs and neutralizes poisons. So you can also use charcoal in a case of diarrhea, in a case of vomiting or diarrhea. Even if the person takes the charcoal in and they vomit 5 minutes later, the fact that it's been in the stomach for 5 minutes, it can absorb and neutralize poisons. You can use it externally too. Externally, it's very effective on snake bites, bee stings, wasp bites, ant bites, spider bites. Can be used for all of that. Now, the easiest way to make it is to mix it with psyllium husk or mix it with slippery elm. You see, mixing water with charcoal is like mixing dirt and water. It doesn't mix very well, whereas these others are binders. Ground flaxseed's also very good, and it also penetrates deep as a drawer. One of the easiest ways to do it, and I have it here. Sorry, I don't have it here. Sorry, we had to quickly move, but I can explain it to you. You put, say, 2 parts charcoal and 1 part psyllium in a snap lock bag, and you move it around with your fingers so it's mixed. And then you put enough water in that bag to make a soft gel, and you seal the top, and then you get a rolling pin, and you, with that rolling pin, you ease out that jelly charcoal mix till it fills the whole bag. So then you've got a thin, flat bag. And you can put that in the fridge or the freezer. It keeps very well. So if someone has a bee sting, you go in and you cut out the size you want, maybe from one corner, peel off the top plastic, and then you just apply it straight to the skin. So it's great to have that in the cupboard, in the fridge, in the freezer, because it's all there ready to use. If someone's in great pain from a bee sting, it can take a few minutes to find your charcoal, find your psyllium, or grind up your flax and mix it with water and make a little poultice out of it. You can certainly make a poultice as I just did. So that's charcoal. Charcoal has been used for centuries for its ability to absorb and neutralize the poisons. Now we're going to have a look at castor oil. Castor oil penetrates deeper than any other oil, and wherever it penetrates, it has the ability to break up lumps, bumps, adhesions. It'll break up a bone spur, so it's not hard for it to break up even tumors. It can break up fibroids, cysts anywhere in the body. Now, this will not happen immediately. The key is consistency. So if the compress is applied day after day after day, that castor oil penetrates very deep and is able to begin the breaking up. The castor oil compress can be used again and again because the compress is just a vehicle to hold the castor oil. And of course, the thicker the compress, the more castor oil you can put onto the compress, and then the more castor oil to go into your body. Now I'm going to show you how we make it. Now you might be familiar with incontinence pads. You can buy these from the pharmacist or the chemist. So what we do is I've cut out that. It's got a paper topping and a plastic back. And I open it and I put in there several layers of cloth. Even toweling is a good absorbent. And then I tape with masking tape the edges. I wanted to show you that before I put tape on the final one. We put a bit of time into making this because it's going to be used again and again and again. Because it's not taking anything out of you, it's just a vehicle to hold the castor oil while it penetrates into you. So there's our castor oil compress. Now, as the time goes on, as it's being used, the cloth can move around. So the easiest thing to do is to staple it. So I have a stapler here, and I'm just going to staple 4 times in the edges. And as it's used, that will just hold it into place. You can use this compress, maybe every day for a month. You might find every few days you will need to put a little bit more castor oil. So you can, I don't know if you can see that, but I put a staple in the 4 corners. And now I'm going to put the castor oil on. So I have castor oil here, and I'm basically just putting it into the middle area. I am not going to tip this up because the castor oil will run off. So I've really just put it on the middle area, and I'm going to just put that aside while we talk about a few other things. It can take 15 minutes sometimes to soak through to the pad. Remember, the thicker the pad, the more castor oil it will hold, and the more castor oil can go into you. Maybe every 2nd or 3rd day, you'll feel it getting a little dry. Then you will dribble another maybe teaspoon of castor oil on. Castor oil can be used to break up bone spurs. It can be used to break up scar tissue. People that have had operations in times past often find problems with scar tissue tightening around the area where they had the operation. So the castor oil compress can help to keep that soft and also help to break it up a bit. It also can be used on the chest for a congested chest. Now this one I've just made for you, that's about a good size for the chest. It's also a good size for the abdominal area. It can be used for constipation. It can be used for even irritable bowel. It can be used for gallstones. It can be used for kidney stones. It can be used if the liver's not functioning at optimum performance. It's a great remedy to use. Remember, the key is consistency. So every day, apply that compress. Some people wear it overnight. Some people find it a little uncomfortable, so they would rather wear it in their clothes through the day. I've met ladies who've conquered their breast cancer by wearing the castor oil compress over the area. Now, I am not saying this will heal breast cancer. It is part of a program. It is part of a program to bring about healing in the body, but it is a very effective one and such a simple one. Castor oil can be bought from the chemist, and it is the oil extracted from the castor oil plant. So that's what it is. I do not expect you drink. I do not suggest that you drink it. I know in times past, people were given castor oil if they felt sick. This is probably in the 30s, 40s, 50s. But it has been proven that it can be quite irritating by mouth. Some ladies are told if they have a dose of castor oil, it'll bring their labour on, but I have to tell you, I've never known it to bring a labour on. Some people may testify of it, but it is safest to use it externally. Now we're going to have a look at cayenne pepper. And cayenne pepper is a remarkable herb. Cayenne pepper moves blood, and the blood is the healer in the flesh. So anything that moves blood contributes to healing. Cayenne pepper can be used internally. It can be used internally to boost digestion. It can be taken internally, and when it gets into the blood, it thins the blood. It opens the capillaries. It strengthens the arterial wall. You can get a book. It's an ebook, so you can Google this one. It's called Curing with Cayenne by Sam Beiser. And the whole book is on the wonders of cayenne. That author claims that it can even rebuild heart tissue. We've seen many people come off their blood thinners and go on to the cayenne pepper. So how much would you take for it to be a replacement for a blood thinner? Half a teaspoon in a little water 3 times a day. Yes, it will tingle, but that settles down. There's a book called Back to Eden by Jethro Kloss. It's often called the Herb Bible. It was written in the late 1800s, I think. many homes that I know do have that book, Back to Eden by Jethro Kloss. He devotes half a page to every herb, and he devotes 10 pages to cayenne pepper. He quotes a couple of doctors that are using the cayenne pepper in their practice. One of them said it's impossible to abuse cayenne pepper. The other doctor said it'll never cause a lesion. In other words, it'll never burn. It'll never burn tissue. It stimulates blood to the area, and that's the tingling that you feel. So it can be taken internally and it can be used externally. So how is it used externally? Let me find my poultice for this. It can be used externally to bring blood to an area. So I'm going to show you one that you can use for people that have no feeling in their feet, people who have lost feeling in their feet, people who have cold feet. And by the way, if you let your feet stay cold, eventually you will lose feeling in the feet, because cold feet is an indication that there's not much blood in that area. And remember, Leviticus 17:11 says the life of the flesh is in the blood. So it is the blood that is the healer. When you draw more blood to the area, you are increasing healing to that area. So how do we make a cayenne compress for the bottom of the feet? So what I've got here is some plastic that I've folded over a few times, and I've got some kitchen paper here, and it's a double layer of kitchen paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle a little olive oil on this paper, and that olive oil will enable the cayenne pepper to stick to the paper. Not too much olive oil, otherwise it will leak, and that's no fun when olive oil leaks on the sheet. So I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil onto the paper. I'm going to smear it around so it covers the paper. And then I'm going to sprinkle the cayenne pepper on the paper. Now, it's usually about a half a teaspoon to each foot. It will not burn. In fact, people who have very good circulation, they're finding that their feet might start to get very, very hot by about 4 o'clock in the morning, and then they want to get up and take it off, and that's perfectly fine. People that have no feeling in their feet, by morning they might feel a little bit of tingling. So I've got a little bit of olive oil on my cloth here, and now I'm going to sprinkle the cayenne pepper on, and again about half a teaspoon per foot is about the amount that you would use. And because I have the oil there, can you see how the cayenne sticks to it? And now the foot goes straight on to that. And when the foot goes on it, then you would put a sock on it and you wear it overnight. Now, I've even made this up for people, folded it over, and that can be kept for quite a few days. I was visiting an elderly lady who had no feeling in her feet, and I made her up enough for about 3 nights. But what I suggested was that she apply the cayenne compress every second night. Because if she applies it every night, her feet might get too hot. Now, people who suffer from cold feet, they really like the sound of that. Now, I see here that the castor oil has soaked in, and the castor oil's coming out about that far around. You do it like that because when it goes onto your body, the warmth of your body will thin the oil and it'll go out even more. So it'll go out right to the edges. And this is a nice size for the abdomen. It's a nice size to cover over the kidneys at the back. It's a nice size to go over the chest. If a woman was using it for a breast lump, she might cut that in half and just do half the size. And what she will find is that will sit quite nicely into her bra. We know ladies that have done this and they use a sports bra and it fits in quite nicely. Now, just as I end, I want to show you the onion syrup. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So here is the onion syrup. Now, can you see that that certainly is not the honey, that thick honey that I put on? That's the syrup. And that has formed in only an hour. But ideally, you let that sit for 24 hours, and then you would strain the onion out, and then you've got your cough syrup. And so we've been able to successfully deliver the natural remedies despite a few hiccups with our technology. So thank you for being very patient with us. I'm in the hills in Alabama, but it's been a little bit better now that we've connected straight to the router and on the computer. So now we'll open the floor for questions. I have 15 minutes where we can answer questions. So are there any questions that people may have?
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you very much. And thank you for those who are with us, as Barbara said, and staying tuned with us. There are a few questions that I saw. Let me see if I can get this quickly. I saw somebody with diabetic, regarding diabetic.
Yeah, diabetes.
I can go back to the
often
cough
have
syrup.
no circulation in their feet. And this cayenne pepper compress can be excellent for diabetics that are prone to cold feet and lack of circulation.
Oh, lovely.
Very safe.
Thank you, Barbara. Sharon, you had a question?
Yeah, going back to the cough syrup, somebody asked, can that cough syrup be used for heart patients or COVID patients?
Certainly, certainly. Definitely for COVID patients. And for heart, it's particularly for respiratory. So it's not as specific for heart. The cayenne pepper certainly is.
Okay.
And another person asked, what type of onions are you using in the mixture?
The onion that I used was a brown onion, but you could use any onion.
Okay. There is one regarding remedies for asthma and also for hay fever.
Yes, one of the #1 causes for asthma and hay fever is an allergy. And the #1 allergy is the food that are being eaten. And the most allergic foods are peanuts, wheat, dairy, and refined sugar. Once they are stopped, it can take a couple of months to see the effect. But in something like asthma, hay fever, you've got to assess the cause. Now, definitely the onion on the bottom of the feet, the flu bomb, the onion poultice, that will also all bring relief to symptoms.
Okay. Thank you, Barbara. There is one that says, you know, the castor oil compress, can the person use it underneath their arm for lymph nodes?
Yes, yes, it's
Okay.
very safe.
Thank you. And there is one regarding, there's a few questions regarding COVID for like someone who has long COVID. What could they do or use?
So for the long COVID, I would take the flu bump 3 times a day, sleep with the onion on the feet, and have a couple of sips of the honey syrup. At the same time, it's important to eat very, very lightly. So vegetable juices, soups, fruits, just keep it light.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Someone's asking. Oh, sorry, you go first.
I've got a question about blisters in the mouth.
Blisters in the mouth can often be a vitamin B deficiency. The mouth heals very, very quickly. The saliva will automatically heal the mouth ulcers. But for the saliva to have its optimum healing properties, the person needs to be drinking adequate water. They need to be eating a plant-based nourishing diet, ideally organic. They need to be going to bed early, beginning exercises, because all that affects the quality of the saliva. You might be familiar with oil pulling. It's putting a teaspoon of coconut oil in the mouth and then swishing it around. If the person had mouth ulcers, I would advise doing that 3 times a day. Try and oil pull for at least 10 minutes.
Barbara, I've got
Thank
a
you very
question.
much.
I've got a question. It says, how can I improve candida by improving my gut? What would you suggest?
By improving the diet, yeah?
It says, by improving my health.
Okay, yeah. Well, candida can certainly be conquered, and I have a book on this. It's called Self-Heal by Design. And Edgar, if you contact my husband, I'm sure he would send you a box of these books for cost, and you could make them available. But that book shows you how to conquer candida, but very simply, you got to starve it. Its favorite food is sugar. So you got to get the sugar levels right down, even fruit. Also olive leaf extract, grapefruit seed extract, garlic. These are fungal killers. So that's probably one of the simplest ways to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you again, Sharon, for the questions. There is another one, Barbara, regarding the castor oil pad for a lung tumor. Can it be used?
Absolutely. And you've got nothing to lose. Try it. You've got nothing to lose. But remember, consistency is the key. And I see a question there for athlete's foot. The best thing for athlete's foot is to go on the antifungal diet, get your sugars right down, and take olive leaf extract, but also put apple cider vinegar on the feet. I did see another one there for a toothache. Now, the best thing for a toothache is a little tiny charcoal poultice, and you can nestle a tiny one. You almost make it like you're going to roll a cigarette. I'm sorry to use that as a comparison. I don't know how else to do it, but you get a little tiny bit of cloth, put a little bit of charcoal and maybe slippery elm in, and nestle that down between the cheek and the gum. Also, clove oil has been used for centuries, and it is very effective in getting a tooth pain down, but the tooth may have to be pulled out. And please don't have a root canal. If the tooth's not good, it must be pulled.
Okay. Okay. There is another question regarding the castor oil, but as Barbara says, you have nothing really to lose and to try it, but it's to do with very sore testicles, Barbara, whether the castor oil compress or potato can be used.
Yes, what the person can do is that they can alternate the castor oil one time and apply the castor oil another time. The closest that the prostate is to the skin is between the scrotum and the anus, so that whole area can be poulticed.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a question.
Oh, sorry, go on, Edgar, you go.
I've got a question. It says, is there a poultice that can be used for thyroid growth?
Yes, the castor oil would be the very best for that. Just remember, the castor oil can break down the unnatural growths. But again, consistency is the key. Every day, every day. The Bible says in Galatians 6 verse 9, let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we will reap if we faint not. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Someone's asking, the ginger poultice, can it be used for a trigger finger?
Yes, yes, very good for a trigger finger, because a trigger finger is a result of inflammation in the joint. So excellent.
Okay.
I've got a question. It says, what can you use for hyperthyroidism without doing
Hypothyroidism is an underactive thyroid gland.
without going to surgery, without using surgery?
Yeah, I would be very cautious to use surgery because you can wake up that thyroid gland. Hypo is underactive thyroid gland. And a hormonal imbalance is with high estrogen opposes thyroid function. So I'd encourage the person to watch my hormone lecture where then they can understand how to balance the hormones. Exercise, the high intensity interval training, that will wake up the thyroid gland, those bursts of high intensity, but also cayenne pepper compress. Now you saw me make one for the feet. You can make one about a quarter or a third that size, and you can place it on the thyroid. Now, don't do it in the evening because it'll wake up your thyroid so much that you might not sleep. So just apply the cayenne pepper compress to the thyroid area for probably about 2 hours every morning.
Thank you. Shirley?
Hi, Charlene. There is a question about psoriasis. What to do with psoriasis?
Okay, psoriasis is an allergy, and the most common allergens would be chemical exposure, mold exposure, but also an allergy to wheat, dairy, peanuts, refined sugar. What can you do to the skin? Whenever it gets itchy, never scratch. Ice it. Ice will take away the itch, because if you scratch it, you will make it much worse. It'll take at least 2 months before the symptoms subside once the person has eliminated exposure to chemicals or mold or the foods that I mentioned. We have seen many people totally heal from psoriasis. In fact, it's so simple it doesn't seem possible, but a person must be absolutely diligent in keeping their eye on exposure to these allergens to get the results.
I have somebody asking about a toothache, and it's a double question. It also saying, does the castor oil that you're going to use have to be organic?
It's very difficult to get organic castor oil, and castor oil is almost a weed, so it's really not exposed to chemicals. So any castor oil will help. And I did touch on the toothache a little bit earlier, the clove oil on the tooth, the little charcoal poultice between the tiny little one, between the gum and the cheek, and the tooth may need to be pulled.
Thank you. Somebody's asking if they wanted to get in contact with you, how would they do that?
They can contact Misty Mountain Health Retreat. So the email is relax@mmh.com.au, and that will get through to Misty Mountain.
Can somebody just put that in the chat, please? Could you just repeat it again for us, Barbara, please?
It's relax@mmh, short for Misty Mountain Health.com.au.
Shirley, have you got any more questions?
There's quite a few, but
someone's asking about varicose veins in the leg and what can be done for
that. Varicose veins often has an inherited factor, and varicose veins can also be have a constipation factor. If someone has varicose veins and they are constipated, that can make it worse. Also, if a person's wearing footwear that is not well fitting and they're standing on their feet all day, especially standing on cement all day, that can also increase the varicose veins. So if someone has varicose veins, the exercise is vital to be able to strengthen those veins, but it must not be running. It must not be something on the feet. It must be something like exercise bike or swimming or push-ups, so that they are exercising their body but not putting undue weight on their legs. Also, if a person is overweight, that can put undue pressure on the varicose veins. So losing weight can also help the area. There is a cream you can buy, witch hazel. Witch hazel cream constricts the blood vessels. So you can buy that from the health food shop, witch hazel cream, and that can be applied to the legs. Taking cayenne pepper by mouth, because cayenne pepper can strengthen and give integrity to the walls of the veins.
Thank you, Barbara.
Go ahead, Shirley.
Now, I was just going to say there is a few on couple on YouTube, and I'm just going to answer. Just answer this one regarding acid reflux. We have got a session in 2 weeks' time regarding acid reflux, but I'm not sure if you want to still touch on it, Barbara. But we have got a session in 2 weeks' time on acid reflux.
Okay, I can give a quick tip now, because if someone's suffering, it'd be nice to have some relief. Eating a large evening meal encourages reflux. The little valve at the top of the stomach is a muscle, and when that muscle tightens, it opens. And so taking magnesium relaxes all muscles, but it'll relax that muscle and close it. Also, if someone has an allergy to wheat, which is very common today, eating that food can increase the acid reflux. So having the main meals at breakfast and lunch, having magnesium before they go to bed, that can do much to bring relief to acid reflux.
Is it okay to ask a question, Shirley?
Yes.
Someone is asking, Barbara, what can they do? Having nightmare when they get the monthly period.
Okay,
what
well,
can be
the fact that it's happening around period time indicates that it is one of the main causes is a hormonal imbalance. So if they watch my lecture on YouTube where I explain how the hormones work, I also explain what disrupts the hormones, and I end with showing how you can bring the balance back to the hormones. And so that's what I would suggest with that.
Very much.
Thank you, Barbara. Edgar, I know you said you had a question before I came in.
Yes. Somebody, this has been put in the chat quite a few times. Basically, they were saying, do you have any suggestions for COVID, how you get over COVID? And how you get over the vaccine?
I can touch on that briefly.
Yeah.
Please realize, and this is coming from the information on COVID, that 98.9% of people that get COVID get a mild dose. That's only 2% that it's serious. That's not even lethal. So please understand that COVID is real, and it's not a pleasant flu to go through, but everything that you've learned in this last presentation will help you to recover from it quite quickly. Regarding the vaccine, if the doctor or nurse can prove to you that it's had extensive animal studies and that they will sign a piece of paper ensuring that you will not be hurt from the vaccine, then and only then would I agree to it. But I have to tell you, I will never agree to it because no one can guarantee that. The safety studies haven't been done. The animals it's been tested on have died. So the scary thing is that we are now the experiment. So please investigate this one extensively before you agree to such a thing. What can you do if you've had the vaccine? Give the body the right conditions and help it to recover.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. Someone did ask, and this was twice on YouTube, regarding the castor oil for lipomas, lipomas.
So this will be my last question because I have another appointment.
Okay.
For lipomas, there's a lot of theories on what is causing lipomas. A lot of people are coming up with them now. They're like fatty deposits. Some people have them cut out and they grow straight back again. The castor oil can help to break them down. One theory is that we are exposed to so many chemicals today. It's one of the body's ways of basically storing those chemicals is in these little fatty deposits. So if you give your body the right conditions, you're well hydrated, you're well exercised, you're eating nourishing food, you're having early nights, giving the body the right conditions, it will be able to eliminate those poisons without the body having to make little lipomas.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you very much. And we're really sorry for some of those questions that we didn't manage to get answered. Yeah. But I'm sure that I'm not sure how it is with your email, Barbara. If they're able to contact you through there.
Yes, if they contact that email at Misty Mountain, then we can process the questions.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. So sorry for those we didn't get to answer, but please email Barbara, or some of the questions might be able to be answered on our Telegram group as well. If you join our Telegram group from the links that will be posted in the chat. But Barbara, we do thank you. TTI thanks you for joining us, and I'm sure the audience do as well. And we look forward to seeing you, hopefully in June.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Eileen, and for those who are still on, we can carry on the discussion on the Telegram groups.
On the Telegram group, yes. But we do thank you for those who are on YouTube. Our email, or our website, I should say, actually, is www.truetemperancinternational.org, where you can contact us, and we'll be able to help, whether it's to go onto the Telegram groups or whether you have a question, because we have access to other, whether it's medical missionaries, doctors and so forth, if you require any assistance. So we do thank you, YouTube, and we will close here. We're just going to probably have a meet and greet with those who are still on Zoom. But we do thank you for joining us on your Sunday afternoon or morning. I'm sure you had other things to do, but we thank you for joining us today.
Shirley, would you like to just promote the Sabbath program coming?
This week, it should be, hopefully, it will be Scott Turner on heart disease.
And who is Scott Turner?
He works with Mayman, been working with Mayman Wilson for quite a number of years. And Mayman was on our show for the whole of April. And we should have Scott next week with us. Next Saturday at 3 p.m. So please, no more Sundays until June. This was our TTI special. So there's only Saturdays now at 3 o'clock UK time until June the 6th, where we will have Barbara again on Sunday as well as the Saturday. Yes, thank you, Hannah. He is a herbalist, Scott Turner, who will be joining us next week. So thank you very much. Jonathan, you're able to unmute those who are still on with us. But we thank you once again, YouTube, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you on our Telegram groups, our Tuesday Bible study, Thursday essential oil class, and the Saturday program. All right, take care and have a blessed day.
Yes, they should be able to unmute now. And can we have the Telegram group, please?
Okay, thank you so very much. It was
I'm going to
beautiful.
put the groups up again.
Are they going to go?
Yes, thank you so
I'll
much.
put the groups up again.
Hello, can I ask please something? regarding Barbara's book, she offered that you can order in a bigger bulk in a box, and we can get it from you.
We just need to.
Sorry, Edgar, just before you answer this question, is it time to say goodbye to those who are on YouTube?
Yes,
definitely. Thank you for joining us on YouTube.
I think so.
Do you want to share that link again so they can keep in touch with us in the week, Edgar, just before I say goodbye?
Okay, just now get it up. Hold on.
Hi. Can you see essential oil classes, please?
Rosaline, we can't hear you. Can you speak up a bit more?
We need the essential oil classes, please.
Essential oil classes, I think, is being
yeah.
said. Essential oil classes. You mean that I will? I think I'm just going to show it again. The slideshow. And then
yeah, it's just coming.
Okay, thank you, Edgar.
May I ask a question, please?
Yes, I'm just going to go through this and then I'll be able to answer. I'm just going to go through this for the YouTubers. So there's one YouTube. This is our Telegram groups. And we have the women's wellness, the men's wellness, and the spiritual health group. So if you put this link into your URL, you should be able to join our Telegram. You will need it downloaded onto your device, whichever it may be, where we will have discussions about our programs that we've had, poster of upcoming programs that TTI may be doing, and where we share or people may want information on certain products, whether it's grinders, juicers, whatever it may be, where we just talk on our platform. So this is the links. So please take note of it and put it in your URL. Those who are on Zoom now, it should be in the chat. We may have to resend it because I know quite a few things were going on in the chat. So you just have to click on it and it will take you straight to our platform. And then, Edgar, you want to go to the essential oil one, please? Okay, so the essential oils, this is the link. Well, not the link, but the Zoom ID, which is 829-9752-4481. And we have this every Thursday at 7 p.m. So it's every Thursday at 7, and it's this week we will be discussing environmental health and using essential oils.
Excuse me, is that 7 p.m. UK time?
Yes, it is. It is 7 p.m. UK time. Thank you. Yes, it is.
Thanks. That's what I wanted to ask. Thanks a lot.
You're
and
welcome.
At the same time, to thank you for the presentation. In spite of the little difficulties, it was very, very educational. And I'm really, really happy about the information Barbara gave. And we definitely try to join that essential oils program on Thursday. That should be about 2 p.m. our time, I think.
I think.
Where are you joining us from?
Oh, I am actually in the Bronx, New York.
Okay, yeah, 6. It's either so 2 or 1. It depends. I think it might be 6 hours or 5 hours.
Okay.
No, it's 5 hours, so it's 2.
5 hours, so it's 2.
2,
yeah.
So 2 is correct. All right,
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care.
All right.
So Edgar, if you want to, I think that'll be the next one, please, for cooking class. And then this is the cooking program that's happening now, and with Alvin and Louise, they're part of our TTI team. And if you're struggling with plant-based meals or like a different alternative to what you may be cooking now, they're really good when it comes to different types of varieties. So this is the information. So you can contact them via phone, email, or just go onto their website, which is www.goldenpalmscookeryschool.com. So thank you, those who are on YouTube once again, and we look forward to seeing you.
Thank you very much. Very